The boss I secretly admired suddenly gave me a fountain pen. Out of nowhere, floating comments appeared before my eyes. She doesn't know this pen is connected to the male lead's sensations. I froze, brushing the pen lightly with my fingertips. Across from me, my boss let out a muffled grunt. Mike quickly stood up and rushed to the bathroom. He can't handle even a simple touch. The male lead has zero self-control. The female lead is holding it. What's she going to do? Oh my god, if she carries this pen everywhere, won't the male lead be excited all the time? I never realized Mike was such a secret pervert. He'd been holding back for over a year, and the only way he could express himself was by secretly giving me this pen. Fine. I'd be merciful and let him enjoy himself. From now on, the power was mine. I lifted the pen from its box, unwrapped the ribbon, and stroked it up and down. Then I removed the cap and tested it on paper. The ink flowed dark and rich. The male lead is dying in the bathroom stall. Girl, you're too good at this. Stop writing, he's about to pass out. Just imagining what Mike must look like right now made me feel a little hot too. Without warning, a hand snatched the pen from behind me. It was Rachel, my most annoying coworker. Humph. It's just an ordinary pen. Not even expensive. I don't know why the CEO would give you something like this. The comments flashed again, don't worry. The pen only reacts to the female lead's touch. Even when the male lead touches it himself, nothing happens. He planned this carefully. Mike was finally leaving the bathroom. I wondered what his face would look like when he saw Rachel holding his precious item. Give it back, I shouted, trying to hide the panic in my voice. Rachel sneered. What's the big deal? You're acting so protective. There's nothing special about this thing. Boring. But Jessica, do you have a crush on the CEO? Her words rang out loudly, making all our coworkers turn to look. My face flushed crimson. Before I could answer, a cold voice came from behind me. What are you two discussing? I turned. Mike's expression was so dark it looked like it could drip water. My stomach sank. Rachel immediately switched to playing the victim. CEO, I was just looking at her pen and she was so rude to me. Mike let out a cold laugh. That's her property. You can't just take things without asking. Did you ask her permission? Rachel, you've been in the executive office long enough. Since when did you start acting so unprofessionally? Give it back. Don't make me repeat myself. The office buzzed with gossip as everyone peeked over to watch. With Mike backing me, I finally relaxed. Rachel, please wipe it clean and put it back in the box. This is a gift from the CEO, and I treasure it very much. Rachel glared, muttering, CEO, you're being way too protective. She's just getting arrogant. Mike's face turned colder. Did you not hear what I just said? Rachel instantly deflated. She grabbed a tissue, wiped the pen, and put it back. I smiled faintly. CEO, don't worry. I'll take good care of your pen. I won't let anyone else touch it. Mike's eyes lingered on me with a deep, unreadable look. Without a word, he turned and walked back into his office. For some reason, he looked even angrier than before. The female lead is being too polite. Our male lead must be disappointed. She doesn't understand his feelings at all. That night, I held the pen box and stared at it, afraid something might happen to Mike. I didn't dare touch it. The male lead is showering. His body looks amazing, those abs, those shoulders. But of course, the important parts are pixelated. Still, we can imagine, right? My hand twitched. I picked up the pen. The comments exploded. Oh no, the male lead's legs just went weak, he almost slipped. Girl, stop. Give him a break. Then my phone rang. Mike's voice was low and strained. What are you doing? What could I be doing? I asked innocently. You know exactly what. There's a document that needs your attention. Put down whatever you're holding and come in for overtime. Overtime? Really? I tightened my grip on the pen. The comments laughed. He's making excuses. He's out of energy already. Are you still using it? Mike asked after a pause. Yes. Silence. Then his voice softened. Stop for now. That pen's cartridge only produces a limited amount of ink each day. If you use too much, it's bad for the pen. Use it sparingly. Treasure it. I blushed. I understand, CEO. I'll be careful with it. But I don't want to work overtime. Is that okay? His tone grew unexpectedly gentle. Fine. Come to my office tomorrow instead. The comment squealed, the female lead is so bold. The male lead is melting. The next morning, I carried the documents to Mike's office. The door was shut tight. I remembered Rachel had gone in earlier to deliver coffee. Then I heard a sharp cry from inside. Something wasn't right. I knocked quickly. CEO, I'm coming in. Wait. Before he could finish, I pushed the door open. Rachel was crouched in front of his legs, doing God knows what. The moment I pushed open the office door, time seemed to stutter. Rachel was crouched near Mike, too close for anything that could be called professional. A paper cup lay on its side, a fan of coffee spreading toward the edge of the carpet where the glass met the metal trim. Her hands hovered in that way that tells you she wants anyone who walks in to think she was just helping. Mike had one palm braced on the desk and his jaw set tight, the same stubborn line I had learned meant do not test me. His eyes flicked to mine, not pleading, not angry, just steady, and for one long second the room held its breath. The floating comments burst into view like sparrows startled from a tree. She barged in at the perfect time. Male lead looks cornered but angry. Female lead, do not touch the pen yet. Assess the situation first. Rachel is pretending to be helpful. Look at her posture. This is a performance. Rachel popped up, smoothing her skirt, outrage already loaded like a script she had rehearsed. CEO, I was only cleaning the spill. She turned the full wattage of her innocent eyes on me. You did not knock. I did knock, I said. And I heard you cry out. Are you hurt? She blinked as if I had spoken in code. Then she gestured toward the cup. It splashed on my shoe. That was all. Mike straightened. His tie was slightly askew, a detail no one else would have noticed. Jessica, come in. Close the door, please. I stepped inside and shut the door. The click was louder than it should have been. My heart was beating a little too fast, and I was very aware of the pen box in my bag, the way awareness can feel heavier than the item itself. I kept my hands well away from the bag. I was not going to be the reason he had to grab the edge of the desk again. Rachel folded her arms. CEO, I came to deliver coffee, as requested. The lid was not secure. I warned facilities about these lids last quarter. If this stain sets, it will need a professional cleaning. Mike did not look at the carpet. He was still looking at me. Thank you, Rachel. You can go. She hesitated, lips parting. The floating comments chimed. She wants to stay. She wants to witness him scold the female lead. Male lead is in no mood to indulge her. Watch the eyes. He is not blinking much. That means control. Rachel lifted the cup, dabbed at the stain with a tissue like she wanted to leave a signature, and then set the cup on the credenza. She flicked me a look that said this is not over and swept out, closing the door more sharply than I had. Silence fell. The kind of silence that notices everything. I forced myself to look at the paperwork in my hands. These are the contract revisions you asked for, I said. I highlighted the vendor clauses and added a summary of the renewal terms. Mike nodded once. Thank you. Put them on the desk. I crossed the room, set the folder down, and stepped back. He glanced at the pages, but I could tell he was not reading. His eyes slid to my bag. You brought it, he said. I knew what he meant and my pulse jumped. The comments returned, excited and whispering all at once. He knows the pen is with her. He is trying to be professional. Female lead, breathe. Do not poke the tiger unless you plan to ride it. I kept my voice even. I brought it. But I did not use it. Not since last night. Good, he said, and then the word hung there like it was unsure what it was supposed to do next. He adjusted his cuffs. What you walked in on just now. He paused, like the sentence had too many ways to go wrong. You saw the truth of it. I saw Rachel wanting something you did not invite, I said. And I saw you not invite it. A small line near his eye softened. That is accurate? I shifted my weight. Someone will say I barged in. Someone will say I am dramatic. I would rather they say I protect the CEO from spills. The corner of his mouth almost curved. Almost. Sit, Jessica. I sat. He did not. His gaze went to the skyline beyond the glass and back to me. I owe you an apology for last night, he said. For the phone call I asked, or for the part where you told me to treasure the pen as if it were alive. The comments fluttered. He is about to be sincere. Do not joke him out of it. Confession sequence loading. Male lead is brave. Let him speak. For both, he said. I do not intend to make your workday into a minefield. And I should have explained the pen clearly, in person, not with half-coded words while I was trying to stop you from using it like it was a light switch. I exhaled. The truth is, it did not feel like a minefield. It felt like a ladder I was not sure I had earned the right to climb. That got his attention. He studied me as if the right answer might be written on my face. "You earned more than you know," he said. Then he shook his head slightly, as if that was dangerously close to something else. "About the pen? The device is tuned. Only your touch creates feedback. Not mine. Not anyone else. I tested that." "I could have told you that," I said before I could stop myself. The comment sighed in delight. "She said it. She admitted she experimented. Bold. We applaud. He is pretending not to combust." His ears colored just enough to be visible. "I had reasons to think you might not be indifferent to me," he said slowly. "But I was not going to corner you with my suspicion. The pen was supposed to be information, not pressure. A way to tell you what I could not say and let you choose whether to pick it up." "You could have used a note," I said, and then realized how unfair that sounded. I rubbed my palm against my skirt. "I am not angry. I am just new to this much truth in one room." He almost smiled again. "Notes can be intercepted. And for what it is worth, no one else knew the device existed. Not even procurement. I engineered it with an outside contractor under a different project code. If you want to keep it, it is yours. If you want it disabled, I will have it disabled today." The comments turned thoughtful. He offers choice. That is respect. Female lead, your move. Choose the path that aligns with your heart and your career. There are always two. I looked down at my bag. I remembered the way my own name had looked on paper last night, dark and sure, as if the pen had reached into my chest and borrowed my steadiness. I remembered how the world had narrowed to a single line of ink and the imagined heat of a shower and the sound of a voice on the phone telling me to treasure something he had not dared to name. "I want to keep it," I said. "But I want rules." His shoulders eased a fraction. "Name them." "Rule 1, I said. "Work first. Always. No using it to derail a meeting or sabotage my own focus. Rule 2. No using it to punish you when I am in a bad mood. Rule 3. If either of us says pause, we stop. No questions." He nodded, once after each rule, like a judge recording verdicts. "Rule 4, he said. Transparency. If at any point this compromises your standing in the office, we end the experiment. I will protect your role. Rule 5. What happened with Rachel will not happen again, and not only because of the pen. I will speak to HR. I frowned. She will claim I am jealous. She will say I burst in to catch you. He met my eyes. Then let her. The facts are not on her side. And frankly, I am tired of managing her theatrics as if they are weather. The company is not a stage. The comment swooped. Lay down the law, male lead. He is done babysitting. Female lead feels safe. Look at her breathing slow. I realized my hands were steady on my knees. I glanced at the folder. "Do you want to review these now?" He finally looked at the pages. "Yes. Sit with me while I read." The two of us worked through the clauses line by line, our bodies angled toward one another across the corner of the desk. Every few minutes he asked a question. Every time he did, I felt seen for the exact thing I had done rather than the outline of a title. The comments dimmed to a whisper, like an audience leaning forward so quietly you forget they are there. When we were finished, he closed the folder. "Good work," he said simply, and the words landed in the spot that used to ache when I felt invisible. "Thank you," I said. He checked his watch. "I have a leadership meeting in 10 minutes. You will join. I want them to hear your summary. Brief and direct." "Rachel will be there," I said. There was no point pretending that did not matter. "Yes," he said. "She will hear you speak. And then she will hear me back you." The comments rippled again. He chooses public alignment. Office politics about to be served hot. We recommend the female lead wear confidence. It suits her. I stood. "One more rule," I said. "I will not touch the pen during that meeting. Even if someone tests me. Even if someone tries to bait me." "Good," he said, and this time the almost smile happened. "I prefer not to have to grip the table while I tell them your analysis is better than the vendor wrote for themselves." We left the office together, and the small buzz that always follows leaders moving through a floor started up like a current. Rachel was already at the head of the conference table, flipping through a deck that had more transitions than the content could justify. She looked up when we walked in. For a second, something unguarded crossed her face, and then the smile was back like a mask. I took a seat along the side, not at the table itself. The comments debated in soft tones. She chooses humility. Smart. But the male lead will not let her stay in the second row. Watch. Mike took the head of the table, set his phone screen side down, and scanned the room. Jessica, he said, please take this seat. He pointed to the chair at his right. There was a small rustle as heads turned. I moved, every step measured. When I sat, he slid the folder toward me. Walk them through your summary. I spoke. The words came clean and strong because I had lived inside them for hours. I kept my eyes on the directors and not on Rachel, who twirled a pen of her own with too much casualness. When I finished, the operations director asked 3 questions. I answered each. Finance nodded. Legal said they wanted my notes sent over. Mike listened without interrupting, and when the last question ended, he said, we will proceed as recommended. And for the record, the clarity you heard was hers, not mine. Rachel laughed, a little too high. It is unusual to credit a staffer so directly in this forum, she said. Her gaze flicked to me. But I suppose it is a learning experience. It is not unusual to credit good work, Mike said. And it is not a learning experience to pretend a coffee spill is an emergency. Facilities has been notified. The stain is handled. A quiet hum went through the room. Rachel put down her pen. The comments clapped in a polite, delighted way. Point to the male lead. Boss move executed. Female lead is not a shadow anymore. The meeting rolled on. We set timelines, named owners, closed the loop. When it ended, people filed out with that brisk relief that comes from decisions made in daylight. Rachel hung back as if she had forgotten something. I stood to leave, but Mike lifted one hand. Jessica, stay a moment. Rachel froze. Then she pasted on another smile. CEO, about earlier. There was a misunderstanding. I hope we can put it behind us. The carpet, you know. I was only trying to help. Mike regarded her with something that was not anger and not kindness and not even disappointment. It was distance. HR will contact you to schedule a conversation, he said. Please be factual. That is all. Her eyes cut to me in a way that promised rain. She left without speaking. When the door shut, I let out a breath I had not known I was holding. The comments whispered. We stand boundaries. We also stand breathing. Now what? Now we go back to work, I said aloud, and Mike huffed a short laugh that might have been the ghost of the smile he never quite let me see. Back at my desk, my inbox was already thick with follow-ups. I sent the notes to legal. I packaged the summary for finance. I replied to operations with a timeline we had agreed to. I did not touch the pen. The day slid into afternoon, and the office settled into that late rhythm of keyboards and phones and the soft rumble of the printer down the hall. Every so often, the comments surfaced for a line or two. She is focused. Male lead glanced over twice. We approve of this pace. Ink reserves are safe. Just past 4, an email popped up from HR. Anonymous tip received. Please come to conference room B at 5 for fact-finding. The subject line was clinical, the body text even more so. I read it twice. Anonymous tip. I did not have to guess whose anonymity that was. The comment stiffened. Plot twist attempt. Stay calm. Truth is an anchor. I messaged Mike a single line. HR at 5. Anonymous tip. His reply came half a minute later. Understood. I will attend. I blinked. You do not have to, I typed, and then deleted it. I put my phone down and let my hands rest flat on the desk. I remembered the rules. Work first. No self-sabotage. Transparency. I opened my notes and added a line to the timeline document that had nothing to do with drama. It felt like a small defiance against the theater that kept trying to conscript us. At 4:57, I walked to conference room B. The glass walls had frosted stripes at eye level, a design flourish meant to be calming that have always made me feel like I was in a hospital hallway. HR was already there, 2 managers with neutral expressions and legal pads that made soft thuds when they set them down. Mike arrived at exactly 5, tie straight now, face composed in that way that says I am here to solve a problem and anyone who tries to create a different one will be disappointed. Thank you for coming, the senior HR manager said. Please sit. As a reminder, this is a preliminary conversation to establish facts after a report regarding inappropriate conduct, boundary violations, and potential favoritism in the executive office. Rachel is not named, I thought. But she was present in every blank space in that sentence. Of course, Mike said. Proceed. I folded my hands. The pen was in my bag, quiet and heavy like a promise I had chosen. I did not touch it. I did not even look at the bag. The comments filed into neat rows and waited. The HR manager looked at me first. Did you enter the CEO office this morning without knocking? I knocked, I said. I heard a cry. I entered after announcing myself. Did you witness physical contact between the CEO and another employee? I consider the exact words. I witnessed proximity. I did not witness invited contact. The manager wrote something down. Did the CEO ever ask you to keep a gift secret? Mike spoke before I could. No. I gave her a pen as recognition for work. There is nothing secret about recognizing work. If you would like, I can invoice finance $20 and we can call it a day. It costs more than 20, the comments teased. Male lead is deflecting with humor. HR does not care about the price. They care about the principle. The second manager looked up. Has the gift affected your work or your ability to remain objective? No, I said. If anything, it made me more careful. I set rules for myself. I can share them if needed. The manager blinked at that, perhaps not expecting me to say I had rules. Mike nodded as if to say there is her answer, and she is the one who set the guardrails. There were more questions. They were all versions of the same thing. Did he coerce you? No. Did you feel pressured? No. Did you feel favored? I felt seen, I said. There is a difference. Did you witness misconduct? I witnessed a coffee spill and a person who wanted it to be a scene. That is not a policy, but it is a pattern. Finally, the senior manager closed the folder. We appreciate your candor. We will follow up. In the meantime, if anything changes, contact us. They stood. Mike stood. I stood. The comments exhaled as if they had been holding the room together by force of will. In the hallway, away from glass and pens and official words, Mike paused. You were steady, he said. You were, I said. He looked at my bag and then at my face. Are you going to touch it tonight? My mouth tilted because it wanted to. Maybe, I said. If you are not in a shower this time. He actually smiled then, quick and contained, like a door opening an inch and shutting again. I will be reading the quarterly report at home. Dry data. Safe terrain. We walked back to the floor together and then split, 2 straight lines diverging for now. I finished my day. I sent the last email at 6:12. The office emptied around me. The sun slid lower, turning the glass orange, then gray. At home, I set the pen box on my kitchen table. I did not touch it right away. I made tea. I washed the single cup and set it upside down on the rack. My apartment was small and clean and quiet, a place designed to let me hear what I thought instead of what everyone else thought I should think. The comments arrived and settled like an audience taking its seats. We are back for the evening show. But remember the rules. Work first. Now feelings. I opened the box. The pen lay on the velvet like a simple thing that had caused a complicated day. I lifted it and felt the weight of it in my hand, familiar now. I did not stroke it. I did not tease. I only held it and let the warmth of my palm spread through the barrel. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number appeared, but I knew the cadence of the words even before I finished reading. I'm told HR meetings went professionally. Thank you for your steadiness. One more thing. If you choose to write tonight, write your name. I would like to see it again. No signature. He did not need one. The comment sighed in a way that sounded like being happy for someone else. He asked for her name. That is not a game. That is a claim without a cage. I set the pen to paper. I wrote my name once, slowly, letting each letter sit solidly in its place. The ink came out dark and rich again, the line smooth, as if it had been waiting all day for this one exact motion. I waited, listening to the quiet on the other end of the connection I could not see. Then my phone buzzed again. A single line. Thank you. I almost wrote again. Instead I capped the pen, put it back in its box, and closed the lid. Rule 1, I said to the empty room. Work first. But I did not add that sometimes, the work is to learn how not to run from what wants to stay. I washed my face. I set an alarm. I got into bed and stared at the ceiling until my eyes picked out the faint pattern in the plaster. The comments spoke one more time, so soft it felt like they were tucking in a child. Rest. Tomorrow is another day. There will be meetings and coffee and maybe more ink. Choices will be made. You are ready. Morning came and with it a dull sky that promised rain. On the train, my phone buzzed with an email from legal approving our path. When I reached the office, a message from HR waited. Thank you for your time. We have concluded the preliminary review. No further action is required at this time. We will schedule training on boundaries for the executive office. I stared at the last sentence and let relief wash over me in a quiet wave. Training was corporate language for we saw enough to know the truth without wanting a public memo. The comments fluttered a small banner of joy. Crisis de-escalated. Next arc loading. Beware of the storm that pretends to be a drizzle. Rachel is not done. I reached my desk and set my bag down. I looked up and saw Rachel already at work, lips tight, keys clacking with a speed that said she wanted others to hear. She did not look at me. That was fine. I did not need her eyes to know what she was thinking. At 9:07, Mike sent a calendar invite for a vendor call at 11. At 9:30, operations pinged me for details I had already sent. At 10, I refilled my water. At 10:30, Rachel appeared at my desk with a folder and a smile that did not reach her eyes. "I'm here to collect the CEO pen for cleaning," she said. Facilities requested all executive pens to be checked for leaks after the spill. A quiet hum went through the comments. "She is trying again. Do not give her anything. Also, cleaning pens, that is not a thing." I folded my hands. "Facilities can email me a request," I said. "I will coordinate." She leaned in as if confiding. "You know, gifts from executives can be misunderstood. It would be better for your career if you returned it. I can help you write the note." "Thank you," I said. "I will manage my career. And my notes." Something cold flickered in her eyes. "See you at the vendor call," she said, and left. At 11, the call began. The vendor tried to slip in a fee increase with a cheerful voice, and Mike let them finish before dismantling the logic with a con that belonged in a textbook. He cued me once and I laid out the comparative rates. The vendor wilted on schedule. We ended the call with an agreement that saved us more than the price of 100 pens. Rachel watched, silent, a muscle ticking in her cheek. After the call, the day filled itself like a tide coming in. Around 3, the sky finally opened. Rain marched across the windows in clean diagonal lines. The office went soft and reflective under the gray light. I typed one more email, then another. At 4:15, Mike sent one message. "Come by when free." I went. His office was warm with the low hum of the city wet and working. He looked up, and his face did that quiet thing it did when he chose to set down the armor. 2 minutes, he said. Then we both go back to drowning in deliverables. I sat. 2 minutes. HR closed their file, he said. There will be training. And there will be eyes. People will watch us harder now. That is not a warning. It is a fact. Facts are breathable, I said. Warnings are not. He nodded. Keep your rules. I will keep mine. And if at any point you think the experiment is costing you more than it gives, tell me. We stop. I almost reached for the pen in my bag then, not to use it but to show it, to hold it between us and say this is ours, not theirs. Instead I let the moment sit like a coin on a table. I should get back, I said. He stood when I did. He looked like he wanted to say something that would make the day end differently than it would if we both simply returned to our work. He settled on this. Good work today, Jessica. Thank you, I said, and left before the comments could ruin the simplicity of it by turning it into a scene. Back at my desk, the rain slowed. The floor smelled faintly of coffee and toner and the kind of tired that belongs to people who care. I opened my bag and checked that the pen was still there. It was. I closed the zipper. The comments whispered like a promise laid quietly on a windowsill. You kept it safe. He kept you safe? Tomorrow we'll ask another set of questions. You both know how to answer now? The elevator chimed 6 times between 6 and 7 as people left in small clusters. When I finally stood, the room looked like a stage after the curtain has fallen. I turned off my monitor, slung my bag over my shoulder, and walked toward the elevators with a steadiness I recognized as my own. Halfway there, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown account slid onto the screen. A single sentence. Check your inbox. You will not like what you see. I stopped. The comments went silent, as if even they knew the tone of that line. I opened my email. One new message sat at the top, no subject, no sender name, only a generic address. Inside was a single link to a private video folder and a caption. Sometimes the truth is what you record by accident. For a moment I saw the office carpet, the coffee stain, the angle of the desk. The memory sharpened into a possibility and then into a decision. I looked up toward Mike's office door at the end of the hall. The lights inside were still on. I tapped the link and the folder opened to a preview image frozen at a frame that made my stomach go cold. Rachel, in the executive office, earlier that morning. The angle was low, like a phone left on a chair, the lens tilted up. Her voice was faint but audible. If you are going to keep chasing promotions, you will need to learn how to share. The preview ended there, refusing to show me more without another tap. The elevator chimed again. Somewhere in the building a vacuum started its slow drone. The rain had stopped. The glass held the last of the gray light like a secret. I did not touch the pen. I tapped play. The video stuttered as it loaded, the image swimming into focus. Rachel was kneeling in front of Mike, her tone sweet but sharpened by ambition. The angle revealed only her and the lower frame of his body. His hand was visible gripping the edge of the desk, knuckles pale, tension screaming louder than words. Her voice carried, syrup layered over steel. You cannot keep passing me over, CEO. Everyone knows how close you are with Jessica. But if you really want discretion, I can help you. Just look at me. Mike's voice came low, steady, iron pulled into a single sentence. Get up, Rachel. The floating comments burst alive, startled and breathless. She recorded herself. She thought she could spin this. Male lead is refusing even in evidence form. Female lead, hold steady. Do not let this shake you. The recording ended with Rachel glancing toward the desk, as if checking the angle. The clip cut abruptly. No context, just enough to seed suspicion in the wrong hands. I stood frozen in the half-empty office, the silence swelling until it pressed against my chest. My phone buzzed again, another message from the same anonymous address. Forward this to HR and the board. Everyone deserves to know what kind of leader they have. The comments hissed. Trap. It is bait. They want you to send it without thought. Do not take the easy path. My thumb hovered over the screen. My mind replayed Mike's words in the HR meeting, the way he had offered me rules, the steadiness he had given when mine was fraying. He had chosen to trust me with the pen, not just the device but what it represented. If I forwarded this blindly, I would be proving Rachel right, letting her script dictate mine. I put the phone down and walked, steady steps toward his office. His light was still on. I knocked once. Come in, he said. Inside, he was reading something on his screen, tie loosened, shoulders drawn but not defeated. He looked up. You saw it, he said. Yes, I answered. He exhaled, a sound between frustration and relief. She thinks leverage is the same as power. I moved closer. The video exists. It could damage you. It will not, he said firmly. Because facts remain. HR has already documented her behavior. If she releases it, context will show what really happened. And if she tries to use you to spread it, she underestimates you. The comments hummed. He believes in her. That is not strategy. That is conviction. Female lead, choose your stand. I held his gaze. I will not forward it. But we need to be ready. He nodded once. I will escalate to legal. But Jessica, understand this, he paused, as if sorting through words that could not be unsaid. If staying here becomes unbearable because of her, I will transfer you with a recommendation that guarantees your career anywhere. I felt heat rise in my throat. You are already thinking about letting me go. I am thinking about protecting you, he said. The comment softened. Male lead sacrifices control for her safety. Female lead, speak your heart. I shook my head. I do not want out. I want to stand where I am. With rules. With truth. For a moment, silence stretched between us, heavy but not suffocating. Then he reached into his drawer, pulled out a plain envelope, and slid it across the desk. Inside was a second pen, identical but unused, ribbon still tied. A spare, he said. I ordered two. I thought one might fail. I stared at it. Why tell me now? Because, he said, choice matters. Keep both, or return one, or destroy them. The point was never the ink. It was whether you wanted the connection. My hands shook slightly as I touched the envelope. I will keep them both, I said quietly. Because I am tired of pretending I do not want what I want. The comments erupted in cheers. Confession. She chose him. Male lead heart unlocked. Mike did not smile, but his eyes changed, light breaking through steel. Good. Then we proceed together. The following week unfolded like a slow storm clearing. HR training arrived, dull and necessary. Rachel played contrite in public, but whispers confirmed her transfer papers were already in motion. She glared at me once in the hallway, eyes promising battles she could no longer fight here. I did not return the glare. I did not need to. Work filled the gaps, as it always did. Contracts closed. Reports polished. Deadlines kept. Through it all, the pen stayed in my bag, quiet and steady, a secret tether humming between us. I touched it only at night, writing my name once, no more, each line darker and surer than the last. His replies always came simple. Thank you. Or steady today. Or sleep well. One evening, after another long day, I left the building late. Rain had fallen again, leaving the streets slick and shining under the city lights. At the corner, I paused. My phone buzzed. A message. Lobby. Now. Curious, I turned back. He was waiting near the glass doors, coat over his arm, expression unreadable. Walking you home, he said, as if it were obvious. You do not have to, I said. He looked at me. I want to. The comment sighed like a chorus of contentment. No more secrets. No more shadows. They walked together. We stepped out into the damp air. For once, there were no floating voices, no interruptions, just the sound of our shoes against wet pavement. The city felt smaller, kinder. The pen rested in my bag, but I did not reach for it. I did not need ink to know the connection was already there, steady and strong, chosen by both of us. And for the first time, I realized the story was no longer about a gift or a secret device. It was about learning when to hold on, when to speak, and when to walk side by side without fear of what the world might say.